today we are going to talk about all the books that I have read in January. The first book I read, I finally got around to this. I've been waiting forever for it. I read Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. This is the second book in the Fourth Wing series. I read Fourth Wing back in like August, and then this one came out in November, and I finally got around to it. It was so good. I enjoyed this one. I gave this one a 5 stars. I know some people don't like it as much as Fourth Wing, and I do think Fourth Wing was just like a smidge better, but this one it was still good. I still enjoyed this. I don't really want to go into this because it is the second in a series and I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but just know that there are talking dragons. Like, what more could you ask for? Talking dragons.
Dragon tales, it's almost time for dragon tales.
It's magical. I can't wait for the rest of the series to come out. And this left off on like a huge cliffhanger, so I need it. I need the rest now. Then I read The Inmate by Frida McFadden, and this one is on Kindle Unlimited. Isaac actually read this. He was going through his little thriller era earlier in January, and he read it, and he's like, you need to read this. So I did read it. It was good. I rated that one a 4 stars. It was about a woman, and she goes and she works in like a prison. She's a nurse at a prison, and she goes back to her hometown, and there's just a lot of drama that goes on in the story. The twist, I did not see the twist coming. It got me. It was good. It was, again, 4 stars. And then I did my reread of Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. And I actually started this I started my reread back in like November because I got it for Isaac for Christmas, and I actually annotated it. There's something written on, I think, like every single page of this book. Like, this is a 5-star read. This is so good. The anxiety rep in this is so good. If you ever want to know what's going on inside of my mind in a social situation, read this book, and it's probably what's happening. Okay, this is so good. Please, if you have not read this, read it. If you have not read anything by Abby Jimenez, read something by her. She is so good. Then I read Ruthless Vows, which is the second book in the Divine Rivals duology. I read Divine Rivals last year. I rated that one 5 star. This one was good. It wasn't as good as Divine Rivals. It just kind of follows the story about Iris and Roman after the events of Divine Rivals. I rated this one a 4 star. This one was more like politics based. It talked more about the gods and the world and all of that, but it was still a really good read. This one is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition of Ruthless Vows.
Now that's fancy! They should call you SpongeBob Fancy Pants!
Then we jumped into, we continued with our Harry Potter era, and I finished up Beyond the Wand. If you enjoy Harry Potter, you'll enjoy this because it is like 75% Harry Potter. Going through, what life was like on set, his experience before Harry Potter, his experience after Harry Potter, his experience during Harry Potter. It was so good. It was so good. I love this. And I love Harry Potter, so of course I would love this. Next, we read a little romance book. We read Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. And I know this one was like popular on Book Talk and BookTube like a couple years ago. I think back in like 2022. And I finally got around to reading this. This one was good. I really enjoyed this one. I gave this one a 4.5 star. It's about Nate and Anastasia, and he's a hockey player. She's a figure skater. They're both at the same college. Something happens with his hockey rink, so they have to share a rink during, professional athlete sports season. As you can tell, I'm not a sports fan.
Go Cubs.
Just going through like the whole college experience with them was really good. And I know there's a second one that came out last fall called Wildfire. It's back here somewhere. And a third one coming out in like June, I think. I could be wrong, but I'm excited to read both of those as well. Then I read another thriller. I read Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney, and I had been so excited to read this book. I know this is another one like I heard about a couple years ago, and it's been on my shelf for about a year now, and I finally got around to reading it. It is set in like the winter time. Adam and Amelia they're married, and they go to a cabin for like a quick little marriage retreat one weekend, and they get to the little cabin and things happen. I thought I was going to love this book because I've heard so many good things about this, but I don't know. I got to the end, I'm like, I don't know how I feel. I ended up giving this one a 3-star. It was still good. Like, I enjoyed the vibes. I read it in the winter. Like, I read it when it was snowing outside, so like it got me in like the creepy sense. Like, I was scared in a sense while reading this, but it didn't hit the way that thrillers normally hit for me. It was still a good read. I would recommend this book. Then I finished Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. This is the 4th book in the Harry Potter series, and actually Isaac was reading this like at the same time I was, and it was so good because it was everything I've ever wanted in life, where I got to talk about Harry Potter while someone else was reading Harry Potter, and then we got to watch the movie at the end, and it was just a magical time in Leslie's life, and it needs to happen more often. Thank you. 5 stars, obviously. All right, let's keep going. So, yeah, as you can see, there's a little outfit change. I ran out of room on the SD card, and Isaac did not provide me with another one. So, we're back. It's a new day. It's a new day, new morning, new time in our life. Let's finish our wrap up. The Fine Print. This is the next book I read. This was actually the book that was wrapped that besties Jalen and Janaea got me for Christmas. This was the January book. I did read this. I did love this. Like, this was like a 4.5 star. It is about Rowan and Zara, and Rowan's grandfather passes away, and in his will, there's all these like stipulations that Rowan needs to follow before he can become like the CEO of this Dreamland company. And if you don't know, this is part of the Dreamland Billionaire series. This is the first book, obviously. And Dreamland is like a big Disney park. It's magical. It gives all the Disney vibes. It's so good. There's Zara, our female main character, and she actually works for the Dreamland company, and Rowan and Zara meet, and they are first like enemies to lovers. It's a little bit enemies to lovers. It's a workplace romance. It's just so good. There is spice in this book, so there's your warning, but it's so good. I love it. I can't wait to continue with the series, and I'm like low-key hoping that our February book that we're about to unwrap is the next book in this series, because I want to continue it. It's so good. All right, and then on our handy dandy Kindle, I've actually like been going to the gym. Yes, I know, thank you. And when I go to the gym, I'll either walk on a treadmill or ride a little bike, and I'll read on the Kindle, and it's just, I don't feel like I'm working out. I don't feel like I'm exercising. I just feel like I'm reading, and I feel so good afterwards because I now exercised. But anyway, on here, for Valentine's Day, there were 6 different, like, really popular authors that got together, and they wrote, like, a short story collection, little novellas. So there's 6 of them. It's called the Improbable Meet Cute series, and each of the 6 authors wrote a little novella part, and they're part of that little collection. So I read the whole collection. We're gonna like speed through these. Some were good, some were but the first one was by Christina Lauren. It was called The Exception to the Rule. It was so good. It was like 5 stars for me. I love anything that Christina Lauren writes. So obviously I read that one. It was so good. A lot of it was like email correspondence, because it was about these 2 people who, through a fluke, start emailing on Valentine's Day, and they keep the tradition going, and it's so cute. I love it. Then there was one by Abby Jimenez. I also loved Abby Jimenez. I loved her. Hers was a 4-star for me, called The Worst Wingman Ever, and it was about 2 people, obviously. She is a like nurse caring for her grandmother, and he notices that she has like a flat tire on her car, so he leaves her a note saying, you know, hey, you have a flat, let's get this taken care of. And throughout events, like, they keep leaving each other stuff on her car, and they end up meeting at the very end of the book, and it was cute. I enjoyed it. Again, it was 4 stars for me. The next one was called Rosie and the Dreamboat. It was written by Sally Thorne. This one was good. This one was like kind of right in the middle for me. I rated it a 3-star. The main premise is that the main girl and her sister go to like a spa on Valentine's Day, and she gets stuck in one of these new, like, it's like a clamshell that shuts, and it's like a sauna inside, and she gets stuck in it. So then the firefighters have to come, and the main guy is one of the firefighters, and they just kind of sit, like, he sits with her and talks her through it and stuff. It was cute. The next one was kind of a disappointment for me because it was written by Jasmine Guillory, and I usually love books that she writes, but this one just didn't hit it for me. It was called Drop, Cover, and Hold On, and for me, it just felt too Insta-lovey. I'm like, I get it's a novella, and I get it's like only 40-50 pages, but I didn't enjoy it. I rated that with like a 2-star. it wasn't good. You don't need to read all of them, so if there's anyone to skip, I would skip that one. Then there was one by Ashley Poston, and I just discovered Ashley Poston last year. She's the one who wrote The 7-Year Slip. Her novella was called With Any Luck. It was good. Again, it was like right in the middle for me. I rated it a 3-star. The thing about Ashley Poston's writing is like she'll put in magic in her books. Like there was magical elements in The 7-Year Slip. And even in a little novella, she still added that magic to it. So that was really nice. I really enjoyed that. And it was the wedding trope too. So that was, I do enjoy the wedding trope. That was enjoyable. And then the last one was called The Royal Valentine, and it was written by Soraya Wilson. And this one was cute. Again, it was like right in the middle for me. I think I gave it a 3 and a 3.5 star. And it gave like Princess Diaries vibes because she's a princess, he's a commoner. She just wants to get away from the royal life for a weekend, so she stays on her holiday a couple extra days, and then he offers to be her tour guide. And it's sweet. It gives princess royalty vibes. So those are all of the books that I read in the month of January. I think, like, including all of those novellas, I think there were like 15 or 16 books total. So yeah, I read a lot this month, but I also read a lot of good books this month. So that was, fantastical. All right, now that we've gotten that out of the way, I didn't drop them. I just put them down gently. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, we are going to pick our TBR for February. So the first one, if you don't know, with Sarah Caroli, she's a big YouTuber. She has a book club, and I've been a member of it for like a year now. Her February pick is Bride by Allie Hazelwood. So I will be reading that. That is a new release for February. I think it comes out on the 6th. I'm very excited for that because I do like Allie Hazelwood, and this one is like a vampire. It gives like Twilight vibes. So I'm excited to read that. But then I thought that we could pick 6. I have this basket, and it's full of little props. Okay, TBR props. So I thought we could pick about 6 of them and then pick those books together. So let's get started on that. I'm excited. I've been waiting for this for like ever. All right, first one. Let's see what we got. 1-word title. I'm gonna pick all 6. We'll gather the books and then we'll talk about them. Sound good? Sounds good. So we have 1-word title. Next one, we have, a red cover. That would be good for Valentine's Day. Red cover. We have stars on the cover. Do I have any books with stars on the cover? We'll find one. Don't worry. We'll find one. All right, 3 more. Next, we have a pretty cover. All right, I can do that. I can find a book with a pretty cover. 2 more. All right, we have a romance. Oh, goody. Again, Valentine's Day, we got a romance. I'm so excited. And our last one. Let's see how many we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last one. Mix them up, mix them up, mix them up. Here we go. Let's see what it is. I'm nervous. Shortest book on our TBR. All right. I will be back once I gather up our books. We have our books. Let's go through them. We have our romance, and I chose Life's Too Short by Abby Jimenez. This is the only Abby Jimenez book I haven't read yet. I got it from the library. It needs to get read. Okay, it needs to happen. So I'm going to read this one in February. The one with the red cover. I didn't have a lot of options either. Like my red covers were part of a series, and I haven't read the first book yet, or I've already read the book. So the one I chose was How to Walk Away by Catherine Center. I have not read a Catherine Center book yet, but I have 3 of them on my shelf. So I really do need to read one of her books. I'm excited for this one. I've heard really good things about this book. So I'm excited to dive into it and see what it's all about. Then we have a 1-word title. And I picked up this book in January, and I've been so excited to read it. It is Powerless by Lauren Roberts. This is a fantasy book. It has so many good things. Like, I've only heard phenomenal things about this book, and I'm so excited to read it. So we're gonna read this one. I'm so excited. I'm gonna start. I hope I start this one soon. Then we have stars on the cover. And this one took me a hot minute. I went through like all my books and I could only find one book, one, with stars on the cover. And that is the Rewind by Alison Wynne Scotch. And I believe this book, they're college sweethearts. They break up before graduation and they vow never to speak to each other again. And then 10 years later, they rekindle things, it looks like. It does take place on New Year's Eve, too, I think. Yeah, New Year's Eve at the end of 1999, so right before the millennium. I'm excited for this. I picked this up a while ago, but it sounds good, so I'm excited. It's giving like Love and Other Words vibes in a way, where they were friends and then they didn't speak, and so I'm excited. Is it friends to lovers? Is it enemies to lovers? But I now want to know. I'm so excited. And then we have the shortest book on our TBR. And so I put all of my books in Goodreads, and I made like a physical TBR. So I put all the books that I haven't read yet in that little bookshelf. And so I went through and I sorted it by page. And the shortest book that came up was Misdemeanor by Eleanor Lipman. And Isaac is actually reading this book right now. He's not too sure about it, and I haven't heard anything about this book. But I saw it at Target one day and it sounded good, so I'm excited to read it. I'm excited to see what it's about. So we're gonna read this. And then the last book was my pretty cover. And this one took me a minute because I'm like, I already have a lot of romances. I don't have any thrillers, but it's fine. I already had a lot of romances and I wanted to like diversify it a little bit. And I started my Throne of Glass journey. I read Assassin's Blade like just now in the past couple days, so I thought we could choose Throne of Glass as our pretty color because this cover is pretty. I do enjoy these, the new covers. So it's already on my TBR. I was going to read it anyway. We might as well put it as one of the prompts. So we're going to continue with our Throne of Glass journey. And then the moment we have all been waiting for, because I know that you're just as excited to open this as I am. And just know, it is February 3rd, and I have not opened this yet. So those of you who said I would not wait, I win. All right, let's open it. This is our February book from besties, Jalen and Janaea. If it is what I think it is, I'm going to be excited. Yep, it is Terms and Conditions. This is the second book in the Dreamland Billionaire series. Remember, the first one was The Fine Print. I was hoping it would be this one. I'm so excited. So, with that being said, we have gone through all of the wonderful books that I read in January. This isn't all of them. They're like scattered everywhere now. But all the books started in January, plus all the books on my February TBR. Let me see. There we go. I'm so excited to dive into some of these books and to see what I think about them. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you keep reading because I know I am. Thank you for watching. Missy Reads.